Good evening, I'm Hugh Downs.
And I'm Barbara Walters. And this is 2020 Friday.
From ABC News, around the world and into your home, the stories that touch your life with Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters. This is 2020 Friday. Tonight, a story you'll hear only on 2020. An insider's shocking allegations about the largest for-profit hospital chain in America.
This is a ruthless, greedy company, period.
Columbia HCA, trusted by thousands of families nationwide, accused of breaking the law and profiting on the backs of patients. This high-level insider claims some doctors won big bonuses for doing extra surgeries.
Maybe that next normal birth delivery should be a C-section.
And the staff was cut to risky levels.
I myself have watched 72 monitors, myself.
Is that what they mean by quality health care?
I think it's the very best.
A startling Brian Ross investigation. A healthcare scandal that could directly affect you. Operating for profit. And she's one of a kind. Whoopi Goldberg, the wildly successful comic star. She never met a crowd she couldn't please.
This is what I was born to do.
She's done it all, and she's done it first. And look what she's up to now, a book that pulls no punches.
Most black people want to be called African American.
I'm not an African American. I'm an American.
Provocative, earthy, honest, about love and life before success.
One of the jobs that you had was as a cosmetician
On dead people.
on dead people.
Yes.
Barbara Walters, with the most successful black actress in Hollywood history. How did she do it? Making Whoopi. Plus, you won't believe what's going on here. Strip clubs across the country, now the hottest places to do upscale business.
Sitting here looking at a mostly naked woman is going to help you do business.
Absolutely.
Salespeople say their clients love it. And when the client is happy, he wants to sign.
It's a tool to get the business deal done.
It's a growing trend in business, but should business women be forced to make deals this way?
It wasn't, do you want to go? It was, we are going.
It's unfair. It's sexist. Well, the world's unfair.
John Stossel with a revealing report. How deals are being done today. Join us for A Day at the Office. Those stories tonight, Friday, September 26th, 1997, after this brief message.
Planner's nuts. Deluxe makes nuts. All this good stuff and no cholesterol.
Fresh roasted taste, naturally delicious. Planters, relax, go nuts.
If I could find an XK120 in mint condition, I could sell it like...
This is your lucky day.
What's so special about ABC's Saturday night? Big stars, big producers. First, Eric Roberts, D.B. Sweeney, Angie Harmon, C-16. Then what Bochco's NYPD Blue did for law enforcement, he now does for security. James Remar, Jim Belushi, Total Security. And talk about passionate lawyers.
They lost the person they all love, and you go after them like a criminal.
And that's just in court. An all-new Practice, hosted by TV's toughest critics, Carl and Leon. Saturday night specials tomorrow.
Wednesday on Primetime, take the sperm of a genius and create a superior baby? 15 years ago, one sperm bank tried. What happened? You'll find out on Primetime, ABC, Wednesday.
Sometimes you get a craving for real classic rock. 92.3 KGON plays 21-song classic rock marathons all day. When you need real classic rock, only one radio station gives you 21-song music marathons. Yeah! 92.3 KGON, Portland's real classic rock.
These two VCRs might look exactly alike, but the one on the right is at Circuit City's two-day sale, so it has a much lower price. Friday and Saturday only, this VCR with remote is just $99.99. This GE 27-inch TV with remote is only $269.99. And this Magic Chef 21 cubic foot refrigerator with free ice maker is just $569.99. Don't miss Circuit City's two-day sale, Friday and Saturday only.
For months, the headlines have been screaming about an explosive scandal at the largest for-profit hospital chain in the country. Columbia HCA has been the target of a federal investigation. Raids have turned its hospitals and doctors' offices upside down. What's all this about? How does this scandal affect you? Well, tonight we bring you the exclusive inside story told by a former Columbia executive who admits that he himself broke the law.
Yeah. And Hugh, you and I were both astounded by his allegations, among them that nursing staffs were slashed and doctors were paid extra to recruit patients and increase surgeries. ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, takes you behind the closed doors of a health care provider that may have cared more about profits than patients.
America needs to know there's a dark side of running a hospital, and it hasn't really been talked about. Let me tell you, this is a ruthless, greedy company, period. Employees are the largest operating expense. Cut that to the bone. Cut nursing to the bone. I mean, cut it to as low as your conscience will allow you. We cut it so low that my wife and I had a plan. If she ever got sick and required hospitalization, she'd go to the hospital across town.
Not to your hospital?
Not to my hospital. I was the vice president.
Until he quit in disgust a year ago, 33-year-old Mark Gardner was a man on the move. A vice president at a company that has made billions of dollars, running the country's largest chain of for-profit hospitals, the Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation.
I was an outstanding employee. They thought I was the cream of the crop. I was perfect for them. Aggressive. They like aggressiveness.
Perhaps too much. Columbia, once cheered as a great American success story, tough bottom-line executives buying up stodgy local hospitals, turning them into huge moneymakers. The 7th largest employer in the country, Columbia, once the talk of Wall Street, is now a company in serious trouble. In the last few months, hundreds of federal agents have descended on Columbia,
We're executing a search warrant.
raiding some 70 of its hospitals and offices across the country, searching for evidence that much of what Columbia called aggressive was really criminal, investigating whether committing felonies was an accepted and expected way of doing business.
I have participated and observed felonious activities routinely.
Routinely?
You're making me feel very uncomfortable, Brian. It's a hard thing to say. It's a hard thing to say, but I mean, it's true.
It's something no one on the inside had ever talked about until Mark Gardner decided to go public, to blow the whistle on what he says was an arrogant corporate culture in which meeting demands for profits became far more important than caring for patients or obeying the law.
I think the company is breaking the law routinely.
It's routine to break the law.
It's routine. We're Columbia. No one's going to touch us. We were arrogant. I could do whatever I wanted. Any executive could, if that's what it took to make money.
Gardner quickly rose through the executive ranks at Columbia to become a vice president at the biggest hospital in its empire of more than 340 hospitals, Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas.
Sunrise is a flagship hospital in Columbia. Gross revenues of just short of $1 billion.
The hospital, bought by Columbia in 1993, was accredited with honors last year. And among its many well-respected departments is the state-of-the-art neonatal unit, where sick babies are cared for after birth. But Gardner says it was seen as the perfect place to start making cutbacks.
Babies don't complain too much. No, baby doesn't know if they're getting bad care.
Babies don't complain?
Babies don't complain. Sounds...
That was the attitude?
That was the attitude.
Columbia says it always has enough nurses available here. But several nurses told 2020 the cutbacks resulted in more cases of infection. Gardner left Columbia with a pile of some of the company's most confidential documents, documents that lay out in black and white a number of surprising, possibly illegal behind-the-scenes deals with doctors designed to boost profits.
Doctors can make hospitals a lot of money. Doctors are the only one in the country who can admit legally to hospitals.
So there was this deal in which a doctor at another Columbia hospital was provided with a so-called production bonus, up to $155,000 a year for performing additional surgeries.
You would actually have a production bonus for a doctor?
Not only, but this particular bonus happens to be for an obstetrician gynecologist.
And she would get paid more if she did more surgeries?
That's what it means. Doctors are human like everyone else, and they're going to do everything in their power to make these numbers. Maybe that next normal birth delivery should be a C-section.
So more C-sections, she meets her goal.
That's right.
And in the effort to identify doctors willing to make deals, Gardner says he would actually scour the doctor's parking lot at the hospital, searching for the fanciest cars.
Hey, that guy, he's driving a $100,000 car. He must have a lot of patience. Maybe we should have him on our team.
And Gardner says the doctors with the most patients to offer were given paid positions as so-called medical directors, which Columbia says was a legal payment for extra administrative work. But in reality, according to Gardner, was a way to funnel illegal payments to doctors for sending their patients to Columbia hospitals.
I've seen financial inducements as high as
$40,000 a month?
Yes.
And the doctors knew what was going on.
Doctors are intelligent people. They know what's going on.
They had to produce these patients.
If the unit is not doing well, the unit only does well with patients, then there's usually a conversation.
Which would go
Your
like...
unit is not doing well, sir, doctor. If the unit isn't successful, then we may not have the money to pay you your fee.
You're paying doctors to get patients.
Basically.
If what Gardner says is true, it would be a clear violation of the law. But such allegations are now part of the federal investigation that has rocked Columbia's corporate headquarters in Nashville and led to the forced resignation of the company's founder and chief executive officer, Richard Scott, who used to star in Columbia's TV commercials.
There's a job to be done, and together we can do it.
But despite our repeated requests, it wasn't Richard Scott or his successor as CEO who came forward to answer our questions. Instead, Columbia produced someone pretty far down the corporate ladder, the chief nursing officer at Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas, Dee Hicks.
I have seen with Columbia the emphasis on improving, not just being good, but improving in everything that we do.
But as to many of Mark Gardner's allegations, Dee Hicks said she wasn't really qualified to answer.
I don't have all the answers.
Then why were you the one designated to talk with us if you don't have the answers?
I volunteered.
Do you have answers about medical directorships, inducements to doctors to refer patients? That's outside of your area as the head of nursing, isn't it?
Certainly.
But it's not just a question of possible criminal wrongdoing. Last month, federal officials investigating the death of a patient at this Columbia hospital in California found a severe shortage of nurses and some 30 medication errors. And there have been similar findings recently at Columbia hospitals in Kentucky and Indiana, including at one neonatal unit. Columbia denies any wrongdoing.
How would you rate the quality of care here?
I think our quality is excellent. I think it's the very best. And I think if you talk to people that work here, you will find that.
And that's just what we did.
How many of you would feel uncomfortable sending members of your family to Columbia for care?
I wouldn't hesitate.
All of you?
I would be scared to death. I was so scared to go there.
This group of nurses and medical technicians from Sunrise, working to form a union at the hospital, told us deep cutbacks have had a devastating effect on patient care. Susan Marks monitors heart patients.
Sometimes I myself have watched 72 monitors, myself.
One person?
One person.
For 72 monitors?
Yes.
Can you do that?
I have to. I've been told you either do it or there's the door.
Nurse Jerry Woolston says her colleagues have confided in her about botched cases when certain shifts have been short-staffed.
And in hindsight, they're like, oh, my God, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe I missed this.
And what happened?
The patients have a cardiac arrest, and sometimes they die when, if they had had better staffing level, it could have been prevented. And you think, oh, my God, I hope a lawyer never looks at this chart.
I have not seen that they are too busy to take excellent care of our patients.
Has there been a change since Columbia took over?
No, there hasn't. You see, in my opinion, if we did not provide excellent quality of care, we would not have patients coming here. Because you know how good word gets around, bad word gets around too.
But bad word was something Mark Gardner says Columbia worked very hard to keep from getting around, as he told us in a final example of what he says is the Columbia way of doing business.
There are good patients and bad patients. A bad patient is a patient who's uninsured.
And Gardner described the case of 34-year-old Rodolfo Anguiano, who was brought by paramedics to the Sunrise emergency room complaining of chest pains. He told the hospital he had no insurance, no money, and no place to live.
Remember the good patient, bad patient? He was a bad patient.
Gardner was the administrator called in to investigate that day.
No tests were run. No blood tests, no x-rays, nothing. He was given a glass of juice and dismissed, discharged.
Because he could cost you a lot of money.
That's right.
So you threw him out of the hospital?
Yeah. He became a little upset because he said, I'm really ill. You know, I apologize, I'm filthy, I'm sorry, I'm homeless, but you really need to treat me. So when he got upset, you know what we did? Called security. Security detail came, walked him outside, walked about 30 feet, falls down and dies.
On the hospital ground?
Right there, right on the lawn, right outside the door. Died. Couldn't revive him.
The homeless man was seen and was assessed and was taken care of by our physician who was on staff.
And he was removed despite his complaints that he was sick?
It's always a physician's decision based upon their assessment.
You did no test on the man? This is the report.
And does the report say that he was seen in our emergency department, assessed by a physician? Does the report say that?
He was seen, evaluated, and discharged with no treatment. He was found an hour later on the grass of the hospital, brought into the hospital, and he was dead. Put in a body bag at 12:10. Did he have to die?
You know, we take care of a lot of patients.
Yeah. I'm asking about this patient.
I cannot answer that question. You know, we all are going to die.
The circumstances of Rodolfo Anguiano's death were kept quiet, according to Mark Gardner, who says Columbia feared an investigation into what is known as patient dumping, a violation of federal law.
I know as much about that event as anyone involved. It was a clear dump.
A clear dump?
Dumped the patient.
And because of that, he died?
He died because he was uninsured, basically.
A year and a half later, Mark Gardner walked away from Columbia and returned home to Kentucky to write a book, to tell what he says is the shameful inside story of how one company changed the way hospitals are run in America.
Many people in the business world would think I was crazy. I walked away with close to a $100,000 job. Walked away. I felt morally bankrupt, as I think most executives did. You know, look what we're doing. We're putting money above all else.
Boy, I would imagine there are some changes going on at Columbia about now.
Well, Hugh, there's been a huge shakeup in the management of Columbia, and they say now they are reviewing and investigating every aspect of their business practices. And many of the things Mark Gardner described to us, including these production bonuses, the extra cash for doctors, Columbia says it's now stopping.
Seems to me, am I wrong, in the old days, the community hospitals, particularly the religious hospitals, Catholic and Jewish, were free of this. They weren't that way.
This is much different now when they're in it for a buck. And one doctor told me, good business is too often bad medicine.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian.
Well, next, a total change of scene, some laughs. The wonderful Whoopi Goldberg, bawdy and provocative, a star with strong opinions about being called African-American, about toilet seats, Dodi Fayed, and the Pope. I'll be back with Whoopi Goldberg uncensored after this.
One of these women uses Suave Daily Clarifying Shampoo. The other uses one that costs a lot more. Both have beautiful hair, free of buildup and full of body. Now, who uses Suave's Clarifying Shampoo and who pays more than twice as much? If you can't tell, why should we? Suave, don't you look smart?
Imagine this. Your husband does something you never thought he'd do. He goes to Sears and buys himself a pair of Lee jeans. He buys a pair for Jamie and Julie, and a pair for you. He even gets them on sale. He has more fun and gets Mickey gifts for everyone. And that's not all. He finally gets a 32-inch stereo TV for the family room. Imagine no one ever complains again. And if you can't imagine that, imagine this. All this and more is on sale at Sears. So get to Sears now, before the sale ends.
Hey, wait for me. Smells good. Pass it down.
It's an indisputable fact that kids love the taste of Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Good. Yeah. Don't hug it all.
And ever since we added more chicken, there's been even more to love.
Hurry up, I'm hungry.
Which means there's still more to go around.
Hey, I never knew there was chicken in this soup.
Campbell's makes everything.
Better.
It's time.
Hi, Nancy.
You've taken care of every detail.
Are you sure? Uh-huh.
Now it's someone else's turn.
Don't worry.
For 200,000 businesses a day, the choice is clear.
Think about this. That works really nicely.
When their presentations demand they look their best,
Wonderful. Today we're talking about productive partnership.
they come to a place that expects the same. Kinko's, the new way to office.
Now there's one more reason to watch Toy Story.
Hello?
It's the secret world of Toy Story, only in the network premiere of Toy Story. ABC Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
Next Sunday, a world premiere movie event.
Welcome to No Sweat Sailing.
A top flight crew. The perfect boat. A killer storm. And the greatest danger is their closest friends. Melissa Joan Hart.
We're going to live through this.
5 desperate kids. 1 angry ocean. 2 came back. ABC Sunday.
Now, Whoopi Goldberg. At 41 and a grandmother, she is the most successful black actress in Hollywood history. And now she's written a book of random thoughts and opinions. The publisher thinks Whoopi is such a hot property that she reportedly was given a $6 million advance. Her book is due out early next week, and it's pure Whoopi. Provocative, funny, and sometimes brutally honest.
From the moment I emerged from the womb, I always wanted to act. I'm Oda Mae Brown. Dolores Van Cartier.
Eddie.
I came to act. That's why I was born. You know, I get to walk around in these great dresses and all these great clothes and, you know, shoot people with a gun who, you know, said something terrible to me. And don't call me bitch. I want to be a drama queen.
Whoopi Goldberg has appeared in over 30 films in roles as diverse as a would-be nun in the hit film Sister Act.
By the power invested in me, I announce us ready to eat. Amen.
The Stargazer.
To the 600-year-old bartender in the TV series Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Well, everyone's very curious about you. Guess I'll bet they are.
This summer, Whoopi was the first woman to play the lead role of a man in the Broadway hit musical A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
1, 2, 3.
Just blocks away on Broadway 13 years ago, Whoopi got her big break with her one-woman show. Right from the beginning, the things we love about Whoopi were all there.
He threw my doors open and, child, the man stepped in, naked, 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 as the day he was born, child, and the man was wrinkled beyond belief. Beyond belief, child. And I took one look at him and thought to myself, all I want to do was iron him.
Steven Spielberg saw the show and cast her in The Color Purple. Whoopi earned an Oscar nomination for Best Actress for her role as Celie, an abused teenage wife from the South.
What's gotten into you? I'm calling you for an hour.
But perhaps her most memorable role was her portrayal of a psychic in Ghost.
Damn, baby, what you do to your hair?
For this performance, Whoopi became the first black actress to win an Oscar in over 50 years.
Don't you ever do that to me again?
Her new book, titled What Else? Book, reveals a provocative and very opinionated Whoopi, naturally with a dash of humor. But when we met last week, she was still thinking of her friend Dodi Fayed, who was killed with Princess Diana in a car crash.
He was a really, really grand fellow. And the reason you don't know much about him is because he was a really private person. You know, he wasn't one of these guys who had 11 girlfriends. As has been described, and to me, it was very difficult to see him begin to be portrayed as some sort of sleazeball. This was not at all the gentleman that I knew. The guy I knew was the kind of guy that you'd walk into a hotel room in Prague having not seen him for a year, and there'd be some flowers saying, just so you know somebody was thinking about you. This was a really good guy.
Whoopi, your real name is Karen Johnson.
So
now,
they tell me, yes.
So they tell you. You changed it to Whoopi Goldberg.
First Whoopi Cushion, then Whoopi Cushon, then Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, I rather like Whoopi Cushon. Are you really somewhat Jewish? The name Goldberg is a Jewish name? That's part of you, too?
Part of me, too. Jewish, Catholic, got Chinese people and white people in my family. I'm a mutt, basically. I'm the best of all the things that go into making humans.
Now, if your name had continued to be Karen Johnson...
I'd have been a Tupperware lady.
A Karen Johnson is a very different kind of person.
Well, yes.
Do for me, Karen Johnson.
Well, I think, Barbara, if I might call you Barbara, that some of the things that I would have done or people would have expected me to do would have been quite different than, say, Whoopi Goldberg.
And now do me Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, here it is.
Here it is. I don't care what you
the
think
barbarian.
I'm doing.
Yeah, really.
One of the most surprising statements in your book is when you say, don't call me an African American.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most black people, I think, want to be called African American.
But I'm not an African American. I'm an American. You know, I've been here probably since just about the time the Mayflower arrived. I might have been under the Mayflower, but I got here about the same time. And as far as I can see, that gives me all the rights and privileges of an American. I spent a little time in Africa, and I'm not an African.
So what do you say to black people who want to be called African American because it means they have roots, it means that they're, what, different?
I just say, fine, that's okay for you. That's not okay for me, because Rosa Parks didn't ride that bus and get arrested so that I could identify myself as anything but an American. And I want everything that goes with being an American.
Okay, you're right. You're marked by where you live. Tell me how you live now and how you lived in the past.
Well, you know, strange enough, I always thought I lived rather well. You know, the projects, for me growing up, were a great place. Everyone was in the same boat. You know, everybody's parents did the best they could. You know, I lived in Manhattan. I was at the center of the world.
This is the New York neighborhood where Whoopi grew up. Her mother was a teacher. Her father was not a part of her childhood, but her memories are happy.
You know,
you didn't know you had it bad,
No,
right?
I had no idea until I started reading about myself. And I thought, oh, wow, okay. It wasn't until I got famous till I discovered that, you know, I was downtrodden.
How did I ever make it?
Yeah, really. I live really well. I treat myself really well. You know, I treat myself like a movie star, which is kind of groovy, you know.
Limousines?
Oh, yes.
At 18, Whoopi gave birth to a daughter, went on welfare, and then had various jobs, including working as a bricklayer, a bank teller, and a cosmetician in a mortuary. To me, that sounds awful, but you liked it.
The people didn't complain, and you got to give people who were grieving the chance to say goodbye to someone. You had a part of making that person presentable to a grieving family.
That's sweet.
Well, it's a big deal when you lose someone, when someone dies.
But you didn't mind working on it?
No, I didn't mind doing somebody's great-grandma and putting her hair up in the curlers and making her look pretty for the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Or shaving somebody's grandpa, cutting his nails, or talking to him while I was doing it.
What'd you say?
You know, what's it like? Say something if you can, I won't tell. You know, you make all kinds of strange and wonderful conversations when you're doing that. But I thought of it as a kind of a loving thing. It wasn't a scary thing to me.
You have one page in the book that on love, and you open the page and it says, ain't it grand?
Yeah, it is. Love when it happens is wonderful.
However, for Whoopi, marriage has not been wonderful. She has wedded and divorced 3 times. She says she has given up on marriage, but she hasn't given up on love. Whoopi fell for her new beau, actor Frank Langella, on the set of the comedy Eddie.
You know, Eddie, I've grown very fond of you, but you're out of line here. I do own the Knicks, and I'll do what I want with them. They belong to me. And you belong to me, little lady, and you'll go where I tell you to.
Oh, no, cowboy. I don't belong to you.
One of the...
Cowboy, I don't belong to you.
One of the reasons that you've said that it's difficult to live with a man is because of the bathroom situation.
Yes, for successful living together arrangements, if you can do it, separate bathrooms are the best. Because then you have to worry about it. You don't have to hear it. You can sit on the toilet seat and know it's going to be there. Because you sit down in the middle of the night, you know, he doesn't want to flush because he doesn't want to wake you up. Okay? Because he's a considerate person. So he does what he has to do and he goes back to bed. You then get up and you go and you think, I was the last person because you didn't hear him get up. So you go and your hiney just touches that water and immediately you know. Because
you hate him.
And you think, I have to shower. That's me. I have to go to take a shower right now. So then I run the shower. He gets up and says, why are you showering? I said, because you didn't put the toilet seat down. You didn't flush. He says, I didn't flush because I didn't want to wake you up. I said, well, I'm taking a shower because I don't want to wear to bed what you left in the toilet. There's a huge fight. You move out. You end up on Skid Row. And then you realize, if I had just had another separate bath, it might have been fine.
Life is hard.
Well, you know.
Men and women, it's hard.
It's a tough old thing. If we could just get the etiquette down, I think it'd be a lot easier.
One thing Whoopi is not afraid of is making her opinions public. She uses her fame to champion women's rights, gay rights, and the plight of the homeless. Her weapons are honesty and humor. Whoopi walks where most people fear to tread, especially when it comes to religion. Another chapter of your book that's going to have a lot of people nervous, let's say, is the part where you criticize the Pope. You are a Catholic. Are you still? I mean, you were. You were raised a Catholic. You went to Catholic school. Okay. You don't like this Pope very much.
I'm not pleased with him as the Pope. No, I'm not. I'm not. Now, I appreciate what the Pope has managed to do in terms of communism. But you, as the Pope, have no right, nor do the people who speak for this God have any right to tell people or turn them away. You have no right to judge them.
Like, whom do you think he's turning away?
I think he's turning away gay folks. I think he's alienating people who can't have children except by in vitro. I think he's turning away young people who are in search of a message that talks to them. And this man has been in there for 17 years, and he has really infuriated me. He's infuriated me because I don't think he's the person that this particular God means to be sitting talking to people about it, him, her.
What color do you think God is?
All. Every color you can imagine and some we've never seen.
I want to talk a little bit about your career. Where are you now?
I have no idea.
Is there anything you really want to accomplish that you haven't?
I want to change the world.
Oh, that's all. Well, you could do that.
I think I can. I have a little bit. I've made it okay to look as you want to look and be yourself. I made it a little bit more okay to do that by sticking to my nose and my lips and my hair. And I'm fun. I'm fun, and everybody who's fun makes the world a little bit better.
Do you have a philosophy by which you live? Words by which you live?
Yeah. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I know it's really corny, but I do believe it. I do believe it.
You know, high voltage talent there's no doubt about it. I saw her in that one-person show she did, which kind of launched her, and I thought, boy, we're going to hear more from her. We did.
Yeah, that was the beginning, and she was phenomenal.
Yeah. She said now she doesn't know where she is in her career, but she seems to be doing all right.
Well, she's doing okay. She's filming a musical version of Cinderella. She plays the prince's mother. She is shooting 2 movies, and she says she wants to play for the New York Knicks, perform with the Alvin Ailey Dancers, and ride a camel down Sunset Boulevard. I wouldn't bet against it.
I wouldn't either. She should have 400 years to live. Thank you, Barbara. Next on the program, The bare facts about succeeding in business. Forget the conference room. Look where deals are being made today. John Stossel exposes a growing trend in business. Sex does sell, as you'll see when we come back.
Honey, you went out for milk 3 days ago. Come home now.
It's just more fun to drive. The all-new Accord from Honda.
Attention allergy sufferers, introducing Eureka's Quiet Victory EnviroVac with a portable true HEPA filter, the same kind used in hospitals. Only clean air comes out. Maximum amps available in 15 or 12-inch models, both with tools on board. Victory EnviroVacs from Eureka.
Over there's the East Village. You can probably feel the creative energy. I'm Tim Nye. I run a small business called Sunshine Interactive Network.
Sunshine.
We take artwork, make it available on the internet. Everything I do is because I love working with artists. There's always the tug between commerce and creativity.
Send your package cross-country in 2 days with FedEx. Cost? About $10.
Send your package cross-country in 2 days with UPS. Cost? About $10.
Send your package cross-country in 2 to 3 days with priority mail. Cost $3.
So, 10, 10, 3. What's your priority? Switch to priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
The hottest place to do business, entertaining clients at company expense. It's catching on, but is it right? What's the deal? When 2020 Friday continues, after this from our ABC stations.
A warning for tavern owners and employees. Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn. Coming up tonight on Channel 2 News at 11, Portland police are looking for a masked gunman who's held up several neighborhood bars. Plus, are you ready for a little skiing up on Mount Hood? It's ready for some folks. We'll explain on Channel 2 News at 11.
With all of our convenient locations, about the only thing easier than buying one of our suits is finding one of our stores.
The Men's Warehouse.
You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Any bank can give you a home equity installment loan with a competitive rate. Any bank can give you 100% equity. Any bank can give you no closing costs. But only U.S. Bank gives you all these things and more in one complete package. After all, you don't want just any bank. To get a U.S. Bank home equity loan, call now.
I want some really, really warm pants.
Corduroy is just wonderful any way you look at it.
This corduroy is, you know, it's nice and soft.
Fall. Finally. Do you have enough corduroy? Ward's has tons, and it's all on sale.
What I like to wear most with my corduroys is a nice big old sweater.
I want a lot of sweaters.
It's all warm and fuzzy and soft.
Wait, all women's sweaters are on sale, too.
Throw it on and I look great.
Isn't fall great?
It's easy to get on the internet, and it's easy to get ripped off. Are you unknowingly telling too much when you surf the web? The Web of Lies, Town Hall, Sunday at 6.
Oregon's ultimate high school football show is Channel 2's Sports Extra.
From ABC News, 2020 continues. Once again, Hugh Downs.
Imagine conducting business in a topless bar. That's what more and more salespeople are doing these days. Sex does indeed sell. What's going on at these strip clubs that convinces clients to sign on the dotted line? And even if it works, is it the right way to close a deal? Well, John Stossel made the rounds of a few of these clubs recently and found it, shall we say, eye-opening. The art of the deal isn't quite what it used to be.
These clubs are booming. New ones keep opening. There have always been X-rated nightclubs and sex shows and red light districts, but these clubs are different. They're nicer, cleaner, more upscale, they like to say. And lots of people do business here.
Now, isn't this a lot better than sitting in the office and getting interrupted with phone calls?
Jim Ryan regularly brings people to this club and other clubs in Detroit.
It certainly relaxes you. It clears your mind to think properly.
He's in the auto parts business. He says he's closed some of his biggest deals here.
Sex does sell. This has been going on since day one.
I think we put together an internet package tonight.
Fred Elias is a regular at the gentlemen's clubs. He says the topless dancers help him get meetings and sales he otherwise might not get.
If Fred said to me, meet me at some place in Birmingham, we're going to have dinner, I wouldn't go.
We make the sale for them.
Bridget, who's been dancing at clubs 6 nights a week for 6 years, says she regularly helps salesmen get contracts signed.
You are kind of hired as a temporary employee for the night to help close a business deal. Everyone leaves happy.
We're the perks. We're the icing on the cake.
These women work at a club in Dallas.
What do bare breasts have to do with closing a business deal?
Because the men are happy. They are.
This is my good friend Steven. This is Robert.
Often the salesmen bring women to the customers they're trying to impress.
This out-of-town client, be nice to him.
Right. Yeah.
That seals the deal.
Yeah, that's like the dessert.
And the dessert's expensive. Having a woman dance just for you costs $20 for every 3-minute dance. It's called a table dance. And many men just pay and pay.
I've sat with my friends and I, a table of 9 guys, and spend $35,000. I mean, it's
something about this that makes people open their wallet and...
Mike De La Garza runs pain management clinics. He regularly brings doctors and lawyers here, and they send him clients.
Sitting here looking at a mostly naked woman is going to help you do business.
Absolutely.
How?
When you have 2 beautiful women sitting in a guy's lap, it takes their mind off the contract, the business at hand, they relax, and then they may not be thinking so hard about the deal. All the guards are down.
Because of these women?
Absolutely. These women...
De La Garza says he'll spend $2,000, $3,000 tonight.
And some of these guys will give you business that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
What he does is closes the deal.
So it's about bribery. Why don't you just buy him a car?
No, I won't. No, it's not about bribery. It's about entertaining.
Big buck, no win.
And many men keep paying for the entertainment, happy in the knowledge that their business will pay the tab. They're on expense account. Of course, many customers are reluctant to put in for topless dancing, so the clubs give you receipts with other names. Here at the Lodge, the receipt says DCG Incorporated. If you go to Scores, the paperwork will say you were at the Diamond Head restaurant.
At our other club, All-Star, it's called Platinum Entertainment.
This man who runs clubs in Detroit says they do it for the customer.
I don't know if you could say that if the right term would be used, that they could bury the charges or things like that, but I think it makes it a little more flexible and easier for companies to come in and entertain their clients.
And it's a tax-deductible business expense.
So other taxpayers are subsidizing those of us sitting around here looking at these women? Is that right?
If the government says it's okay to do it, it's a legitimate business expense, and other people are doing it, why not do it?
We watched realtor Harley Groff close a big real estate deal at this club.
He's a proud owner of a $1 million suite.
He often does business here.
If there's a problem with the deal and they look around, there's these beautiful women and they're eating a great meal and having a few drinks, we'll work it out. It's a tool to get the business deal done.
A tool used by lots of doctors, lawyers, people on Wall Street.
With so many deals being signed, it's incredible.
Okay, so it works. Sales are made here. But does that make it right or fair? Some people say no.
Is that how you view me, then, as just a set of... It's degrading, it's sleazy, it's inappropriate, it's unacceptable.
When we come back, we'll hear from the women, the ones trying to make the deals and the ones trying to make the men. John Stossel continues after this.
Alpha Hydrox is a treat to come home to. You put it on, your skin feels, it's saying thank you for putting it on. It feels smooth, it feels silky. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a great treatment for your skin. And the best part about it is you don't have to go anywhere. You can just buy the box of Alpha Hydrox and put it on. My husband has noticed my skin. He says, Pam, you know, we're married 11 years, but hey girl, you're doing good. This feels really nice.
Alpha Hydrox Cream and Lotion, available at drug, discount, and grocery stores.
Once you find out the fat in some of your favorite foods, you go, whoa, red light. Well, I want a green light. That's why I love Healthy Choice. Every dish is a definite go. Takeout pizza, red light. Thick, cheesy Healthy Choice pizza, green light. Carry-out Chinese, no can do. Healthy Choice beef broccoli Beijing, green light. Super premium ice cream, red light. Healthy Choice ice cream, you get my drift. Healthy Choice, your green light to eat what you like.
This release. This freedom. This perfect moment is brought to you each and every night by the Serta Perfect Sleeper. Serta, we make the world's best mattress.
There are people who believe the world is radically different than how it appears on television. Would you like to be one of them?
I need a new source for traditional French porcelain. We could ship these tomorrow.
ABC News 2020 will continue in a moment.
Carolina has beaten the 49ers 3 out of 4 times, but this is Monday Night Football. Prime time, under the lights, in front of everybody.
You're back going into the end zone. It's caught for the touchdown. These last 3 weeks we've seen tremendous.
49ers Panthers, don't miss another great finish. Then don't miss Time Cop.
Moment you've been waiting for. The moment your questions will be answered.
I was thinking maybe you did it.
The moment you know.
Any chance I get a marriage out of this?
Blue is back. It only happens once. The season premiere, NYPD Blue, ABC Tuesday. Viewer discretion advised.
What do you see when you see this word? Do you see the disabled as unable? Disabled may mean different than before, but it needn't mean less than before. We offer insurance that helps those who become disabled remain productive, retain their self-esteem, be different, but not less. Human, we see farther.
Your heart pounds. Your head rings. Your palms sweat. Imagine how the drivers feel. Watch Alex Zanardi, the 1997 PPG Cup champion, at the Kart World Series 500. Sunday night, September 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Check your local listing. Kart, championship auto racing team. Feel the speed.
So what's a businesswoman to do? Her boss wants her to entertain clients at a topless bar. Should she be a sport and go along? What happens to women who just say no? As John Stossel continues, you will hear from women on both sides of the table, those in business suits and those in business for themselves.
Told it's part of the team.
These women are angry that their companies do business at the clubs and expected women to go along.
It wasn't, do you want to go? It was, we are going.
Terry Sykes was an assistant to the sales staff at Stevens Transport in Dallas. Her boss took her and a client to this topless club. Terry says she felt humiliated.
So you could just say, excuse me, I'm not comfortable here. I'm going to leave.
No. It's one of those unwritten rules. You're expected to be there. You're part of the team. You're expected to do your part.
They would just say that I needed to be there. I was expecting.
Carol Duport worked as a sales rep for Comms People, a personnel company that entertained at that club.
These are not the places I like to frequent. You guys go ahead. And I soon after became labeled not being a team player.
The supervisor at her office, a woman, denied that going to strip clubs is required. She would not agree to an interview.
Why not just say no? Why not just say, I'm not going?
I did, and I'm unemployed. The day that I was fired, I told them I was not attending the outing that they had planned for the next night. 15 minutes later, I was fired.
Michelle Legister was fired by Infinite Medical Management Company after she refused to go to this club. The company says they haven't been able to verify her claims and she wasn't fired. There was just a downsizing. But Michelle says her boss told her her refusal to go meant she was sexually repressed and needed psychological help.
There was something mentally ill about your refusing to go?
Absolutely. You know, what's wrong with you? I mean, this is normal. This is what everybody does. Get with the program. So everything, my whole career, my dreams were just hinged on going to places where it wasn't appropriate. That's not fair, and I get really angry.
Michelle and Terry are suing for sexual harassment. Carol's thinking about it.
Companies definitely know what's going on. We found
Charles Butler's magazine, Sales and Marketing Management, took an anonymous survey of its readers' attitudes toward topless bars. More than a third said they'd taken customers there, though many also said their companies had policies against it.
I think it was 40% said we have a policy against it, but 43% of the same companies said we have that policy, but we'll look the other way.
For example, Chrysler, Ford, and GM all say they do not approve of doing business in these gentlemen's clubs. Yet the owner of this and 3 other clubs in Detroit says lots of his business comes from employees of those companies.
It's a very dirty little secret that's very profitable for a lot of companies.
Most women who responded to the survey said they would not go to the clubs. Most said they'd rather lose a customer.
Women were cut out of business deals, many complained, because they refused to go.
Absolutely. Yep. I did not get some of the good accounts that I should have gotten due to the fact that I would not entertain them in a way that they felt like they needed to be entertained. And these good accounts went to the men in the office.
I think they should toughen up, you know. The guys are going to hang in the club, hang.
The topless dancers had little sympathy for the women's complaints.
These women say they're cut out of the loop. This isn't fair.
It doesn't have to exclude them. They're excluding themselves.
That's their choice.
And I'll tell you, if I was a woman executive,
we're all executives.
I would use a place like this as my edge. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely.
And what do the men in the clubs have to say about the complaints?
It's smarmy to do business in a place like this with half-naked women walking around. It's not professional. Yes, it is.
Steve Parker and Dyke Farrell are here holding a meeting about drilling new oil wells. Farrell says women usually have the advantage in sales.
If a man comes into town and wants to do business with me, and my competition is a woman that's attractive, and she takes him out to dinner, what am I going to do to top that?
You need this to get even?
Yes, this levels the playing field and creates an atmosphere where men can do business with men.
It's not my responsibility or my fault that most of the people in this country are men doing business.
But it's unfair. It's sexist.
Well, the world's unfair. It's darn sure unfair.
Not all saleswomen object to the clubs.
We made the sale. We closed the deal. I mean, it was
I talked to Randall Fine right after she'd gotten a customer to spend about twice as much as he'd planned.
We got him into an atmosphere where he could sit back, he could have a drink, have some appetizers.
You're not talking about nearly naked women.
Well, I'm sure that had to be part of it.
It doesn't bother you at all that these women are waving their breasts in your face?
No, waving them in my face. If I'm willing to go the distance for my client, to do whatever it takes to make them happy, to make them feel comfortable, then who's to say who's right and who's wrong?
You never even went to check it out. Maybe it wouldn't have been so bad.
I didn't sign on to go to a club to watch. That's not what I signed up for. So I don't see how I can toughen up because that wasn't part of the deal.
It doesn't give women very much hope that they can ever be respected in their field when they're never going to see you any differently than they see those women in those bars.
It's not just women who don't like the clubs.
Do you ever see men who are clearly uncomfortable?
Oh, yes. Oh, most definitely.
I don't want to do business if I've got to buy it that way.
Elton Stroud's bosses took him to a gentleman's club. He was horrified.
You're hoping someone doesn't recognize you, and you're sitting there and somebody's buying you table dances, and here's a girl sitting, dancing right in front of your face that is basically nude. It humiliates an individual if they have to use that as leverage to sell.
He quit his job rather than keep going. But he's the exception. Over the past 10 years, 250 new gentlemen's clubs have opened. Lots of business is being done there.
Bye-bye.
At least that's what they say.
We'll have to reconcentrate on this for a second here. That's going to take a minute. Okay, it's over.
And Barbara, I understand you've been to one of these clubs?
Well, yes, I have, as a matter of fact. I went with Demi Moore. We were really doing research for a film that she was making. John, I was very uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable about being there with the men who were all but panting. I don't know how a woman does business there. I don't mean the ones doing the number. If they want to, that's their business, but doing the business.
I agree. I was happy to go because I like looking at attractive, half-dressed women. But when I left, I felt like I had to take 2 showers. It just, the constant hustle made me feel awful.
Should it be illegal?
Well, just because we don't like it, I don't think that means it has to be illegal. These are consenting adults. Let them be.
And I guess the women might have to find some other way of doing business if they're as uncomfortable as I was.
There are plenty of ways. Other ways.
Other ways. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on Channel 2 News, a major drug bust in our area, and police say they've nabbed the leader. Earthquakes rock central Italy, and a piece of Christian history. Plus, why'd he swim the entire length of the Mississippi River?
Mom's calling Enterprise rent a car. Our car is sick.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up.
Wow.
Drive you to our place and get you on your way.
Everybody loves to be picked up.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Deadlines have no mercy. Thankfully, wherever you are, whenever you're finished, you can send a document to Sir Speedy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sir Speedy will print, copy, bind, and deliver your work when and where you need it. Use the internet or our electronic bulletin board. Or call your nearby Sir Speedy and be part of the printing, copying, digital network.
Anybody home?
Sometimes the best reunions happen by chance.
We were hungry.
Now you can always be ready with new Color Lock storage bags from Ziploc. New Ziploc bags have a special Color Lock seal, the only color seal you can both see and feel. So what goes in Color Lock today comes out Ziploc fresh tomorrow.
Great meal, Mom.
You got something I can take this home in?
I think I could find something.
New Ziploc brand Color Lock bags. Ziploc was made for tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That was some first date.
Yes, it was.
We should do it again sometime.
We should, yeah, absolutely.
Just not with each other.
Oh, yeah, definitely not me and you. Nobody wants that.
That's refreshing honesty, just like the bold taste of Ocean Spray's Ruby Red.
Sorry I dozed off during dinner.
Ocean Spray, it's refreshingly honest.
Pizza?
Hey, who delivered?
Actually, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Oh!
Where's it from?
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza bakes up fresh like pizzeria pizza. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Well, don't forget to watch Nightline after your local news. And on Sunday, a noteworthy leave-taking. David Brinkley, who's one of the great veteran broadcasters, who hosted ABC's Sunday morning news show for 15 years, will make his last appearance as a contributor on ABC's This Week. Barbara, I know you and David worked a lot together.
Yes, we did. I've known David Brinkley since both our days at NBC, yes, when he was our star anchor with Chet Huntley, and I was a beginner on the Today Show, and he was always so generous to his colleagues, especially to younger talent. He's a man of integrity and decency and, of course, humor. And he's also a superb journalist. We have all learned from him. But David has so many interests. He's a great cabinet maker. He reads all the time. He writes books. He'll continue to be busy and active. Speaking personally, David, I'm honored and grateful to call you a friend.
And I'm slightly envious of his added free time at this time. Well, that is 2020 for tonight. We thank you for joining us.
And remember, we're in touch, so you'll be in touch. I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Hugh Dow.
And for all of us here at 2020, have a good weekend. Good night.
To order a video cassette or transcript of tonight's 2020 Friday, call 1-800-CALL-ABC.
Sick of there being only one right answer. That's why I love Arby's Mix and Match 5 for $5.95. No pressure. You mix and match any 5. 3 regular roast beef and 2 beef and cheddars? Sure. 2 regulars and 3 beef and cheddars? Why not? 4 and 1, 1 and 4, whatever. There is no incorrect response. You can't lose this game.
You can go anywhere and get filled up, but you can only get the Mix and Match any 5 for $5.95 deal at Arby's.
In just 2 years, Spirit Mountain Casino has helped members of the Grand Ronde tribe become more self-sufficient and reduce their dependence on taxpayer-funded programs such as welfare. Now the tribe has completed a new community medical center to benefit all of Grand Ronde and has donated $175,000 to help Life Flight save lives. Thanks to the historic pact between Oregon and the tribal government, the spirit of giving something back to the community continues to thrive at Spirit Mountain.